Hello, everyone. Welcome to RMIT Activator's virtual LaunchHUB showcase. After 12 weeks of incredibly hard work, it's time for our fantastic group of founders to pitch their businesses. Every one of the businesses you'll get to know tonight is driven to make our world a better place. So thank you for being here to cheer them on. My name is Tim Ottaway, and I will be your MC this evening. I'm the co-founder of Project Flock, a business that is focused on making cycling safer, and I went through the LaunchHUB program last year in 2020. So before we dive right into the showcase, I would like to acknowledge the people of the Woiwurrung and Boonwurrung language groups of the Eastern Kulin Nations, on whose unceded lands we conduct the business of the university and from where I am joining you today. I respectfully acknowledge their ancestors and elders, past and present. And I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians and their ancestors of the lands and waters across Australia where we conduct our business. All right, so on to a little bit of housekeeping for tonight's showcase. It's exciting to be presenting this evening's event virtually on a new interactive event platform. And while we would have loved for this to be hosted in person, the Activator team has put together a really seamless experience for you tonight. You can navigate your way around the platform on the left, where you will see things such as the stage, the reception and expo. And on the right of your screen, you will see the chat box and the People's tab, where you can cheer on your founders and connect with each other. And then if you do need any help there, we do have somebody in the chat there under event support if you need someone to assist you with any of the functions. All right, so have fun. So with the pitches tonight, we are going to be holding a little bit of a competition format. So not only will you get to hear some great pitches from our founders this evening, but we will also be joined by our judging panel, and they will be looking for the best pitch of the night. Our judges are Caitlin Isles, who's the director of White Neon. We've got Bevan McLeod, who's the director of Blue Rock. We've got Nikki Stecker, the director of Circular Economy Victoria. And we also have Matt Salia, the director of RMIT Activator. So thanks to our judges. We look forward to hearing from them soon. As a founder, I'd say one of the best parts of LaunchHUB is the coaches. They play a really pivotal role in helping the founders on their journey. So it's my honor to introduce the coaches for the LaunchHUB number 10. We have Darren Sutton, who's one of the co-founders of the Common Purpose Collective. We have Shamila Gopalan, the founder and CEO of Herwin. We have finally Ian Wong, who's the co-founder and vice president of Circular Economy Australia. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon, coaches. Along with our judges awarding the best pitch tonight from the 8 different teams we have, we'd like to get your help to decide who gets the People's Choice Award. Everyone who votes in the People's Choice Award tonight will go in the draw to win an amazing Echo smart speaker. So don't forget to vote. Okay, everyone, it's time to kick off the pitches. But first, we'll hear from Darren Sutton. Take it away, Coach.
Thank you, Tim. Hopefully everyone can hear me all right. I just want to say a quick thank you, first of all, to RMIT Activator for giving us the opportunity to coach such a great bunch of founders and also to create such a brilliant environment. RMIT Activator is the growth engine for entrepreneurship and innovation across the university, and it really personifies the values of the university around inclusion, imagination, agility, courage, passion, and impact, which are all the things you're going to see in all the founders coming up. This is my 5th LaunchHUB, and it's one of my best, probably because profit and purpose sits at the very heart of this. And it's been such an exciting experience. And hopefully we've developed a great relationship between the coaches and the founders. And I can't speak on behalf of all the coaches, but certainly for me, it was a tremendous time with both Mindy and Mohammed. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mohammed from Pops Public, who will take you through his vision.
Hello everyone, I'm Mohammed, founder of Pops. Pops is a platform that connects and curates inclusive and accessible public spaces. Have you ever been to the city and searched for a place to rest, wait your friends, or spend time without paying or purchasing any food and drinks? Yes, it's like searching for a public space, but usually it's hard to find such places in the city. The city center and downtown area are usually occupied by private buildings and businesses. There are a limited number of public space hosting social activities. As a solution, government required the private sector to create public spaces available to the public at the ground floor. Such privately owned public spaces are known as pubs. It seems a great idea, but in reality, they don't work because they are usually exclusive, hidden, and visually inaccessible. Even if we can find them, we think that we cannot use them. Pubs aims to bring those kind of mysterious semi-public spaces on the map and introduce them to a wider public. It provides a search engine based on different filters to find your desired places for individual and social activities. For each place, you can find information about amenities, permitted and prohibited activities. Pubs owners also can advertise their private amenities like a meeting room to be booked by public users. Pubs has significant social impacts and contribution for three main stakeholders: the public users, also private businesses, as well as the government as a facilitators. It strengthens community participation and expand equal opportunity and access by introducing new free activity points with greater potential for interaction and engagement. On the other side, it also builds economic resilience for pubs owners by bringing more people and activity football to their buildings. We have developed a business model based on booking and connecting people with private places to lease their spaces for big and small events. A combination of B2B and B2C business models is used here. I have started exploring pubs in my PhD and then developed the idea of pubs by doing several interviews with potential users and pubs managers. And now in LaunchHUB program, I developed a case study and MVP to develop value propositions for all customer segments. For next step, we want to do a bigger pilot launch with partners like City of Melbourne to test the market, and finally scaling up pubs in other cities and countries. Pub mission is to provide triggers, motivation, and the ability to connect all people to pubs in all cities all around the world. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that pitch, Mohammed. So we've got the judges back in here now, and I'd like to throw to you guys to see if you have any questions.
I got one, Mohammed. Well done. Always tough to head off first, mate. So congratulations on that. I've loved watching Pops evolve from your PhD to mid and now in LaunchHUB. I'm still really curious as to who you see as the main customer. Is it the building owners? Is it government looking to activate city spaces? Is it me as a consumer? And how are you going about building the model around each of those, or who would be the most important?
Thank you.
You just muted there. Yeah.
Yes. As you can see, as you saw in my slide, there are three main stakeholders here, and I want to connect all of those three main stakeholders. One, at the beginning, I want to connect the people with the places. The public user would be the main user of the application. They search for a place, they go to the place and use the place. So, and also who building owners and building manager would be the people who feed the more information to the website and application. So in some way, I'm trying to connect public user with the building owners. Building owners also can be my potential customers because they want to advertise or post their private spaces. They are usually not publicly accessible, so they can post and they can advertise their places. So both sides would be my customers, and government can be as the facilitator for this action.
Excellent. Great question. And Caitlin, you've got one?
Well done, Mohammed. I've got two questions. Question number one, have you got any idea of the size of the commercial opportunity inside, or the market opportunity inside of Australia? And then also, my understanding is when people are hiring public spaces, there's a whole lot of legal and compliance and permit type of issues. Is that an opportunity to generate revenue for the business and something you've considered?
Yes, for your first question, we are in the era that we can have more partnership of public and private sector in creation of public spaces. So in each city of Australia and the other countries and the top United States cities, the number of pubs are increasing, and also different types of pubs are adding every day to our cities. So like universities, like institution, like museums, also shopping mall, there are all different types of pubs. So their buildings, yes, I'm trying to bring new use cases to the building for the building owners and managers, and I'm trying to create new revenue stream for them. And also naturally, after bringing more people to their building, they can expect more revenue and more people coming to their space and a higher, rent or those kind of income they may expect it. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's some really great questions there from the judges, and thanks so much again, Mohammed. We're going to throw back to Darren to introduce our next founder. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Tim. Well done, Mohammed. So as thoughtful and diligent that Mohammed has been on understanding and validating the problem through both his 3-year PhD and the amazing work he's been doing through the 12-week program with RMIT, we head over to Mindy, who's had a lifetime of passion around horse and sport. And it feels really contextual given the current Olympics that we're going through. Mindy has demonstrated incredible passion and commitment. It's very impact driven, but what I've really held on to throughout the coaching experience with Mindy has been her ability to constantly pivot and find a source of truth in a proposition and great market to product fit. Mindy?
Hi, I'm Mindy, founder of LaunchHUB, a SaaS platform enabling community and commercial growth of equine sports. Over 21,500 clubs in Australia rely on volunteers to run more than 215,000 events and manage in excess of 1 million members every year. They're expected to do this on their own time, with few funds, limited resources, aging systems, and unlike any other sport, they have to consider the biosecurity, safety, and welfare of over 2 million horses as well as the humans. Horse lovers spend months preparing for events, literally thousands of dollars, and they stress over the increasing expenses of entry fees, travelling, and the overwhelming complexities and volumes of paperwork. Without volunteers, events don't happen. But without enough entries, events aren't financially viable, and the pressure that volunteers and horse lovers are under fractures relationships and divides the community. Right now, baby boomers are handing the reins over to the ex-gen and millennials, so it's a perfect time to be giving them the tools to digitise equestrian and reunite this community. Also, now in this age of turmoil and uncertainty, it is when horse lovers need the companionship of their horses most. And this is well recognised by the NDIS, who strongly support horse activities in their programs. So how does LaunchHUB help? Well, volunteers and participants are equally important, but their needs are very, very different. And this is why we have created 2 modules under one experience. The club module deepens relationships between the club and their customers with member-centric tools that promote growth and simplify administrative tasks to reduce burnout. The members module embraces horse life, centralising event entries, building the community, and supporting continued participation. LaunchHUB is an opportunity to connect profit and purpose to make a significant social impact on more than 2% of the population. And our sustainable business model offers the clip of ticket, subscriptions, integrations, products and services. And through these revenue streams, we can sustainably support equestrian sports. A robust community also offers potential for commercial businesses to target their market using LaunchHUB as a marketing channel. And this is a further opportunity to support the members and the clubs through sponsorship. After an in-market prototype process, more than 800,000 in event entries, the MVP launched in January this year. The MVP has 29 new club accounts, has run 36 events, processing more than 351,000 in entry fees, and the members module has 119 new accounts since the 1st of July. I'm seeking investment to enhance the user experience, deploy more impactful features, and work towards further opportunities with government, licensing versions, and the international market. I have a deep connection with horses, actively training and competing. I also volunteer, so I have an intimate understanding of the challenges faced by clubs. My work experience is in animal management, data analysis, and system administration. LaunchHUB is on a mission to digitise equestrian and unite a community to a common purpose. So, are you ready to saddle up and come for a ride?
Awesome pitch, Mindy. We've got the judges here on hand to ask a couple of questions. I think we've got one from you, Caitlin.
I'm sorry I got to jump in for a second time, but I am an equestrian and I have been up every night watching the dressage, so I'm a little red-eyed as a result. I'm really interested, from your website, you say that this is going to be both event and horse management. Can you give me a little bit more insight into the horse management component and how you're going to commercialise that?
Yeah, so the horse management module allows riders to save their horses and all of their people so that when they come to entering events, they don't have to enter all the information every time. They enter an event, they select a rider, they select a horse, and that will pre-populate any of the information that the club or the organiser calls for. Because it does change from event to event and it can get quite confusing, and sometimes event organisers don't have all the information that they needed, and so then that sort of bit of triage and customer service that takes them a lot of time. But also that having that space also allows them to create a little bit of almost like a resume for their horses and riders, so they can collect multidiscipline information about what their horses have done and all their achievements together. It also allows for the opportunity to create a rewards program where they can earn rewards points and then use that to redeem against entry fees. So that's how that portal will be monetized and also support them in their continued participation.
Excellent response. Any more questions from the judges? No, that's cool. Personally, I think really captivating business model there, Mindy, but thanks so much for the questions, judges, and thank you so much again, Mindy, and also Mohammed and Team Darren Sutton. Thanks so much. So it's just a little fact I'd like to share with everyone today. Today's showcase is actually a milestone for RMIT Activator because this is the 10th time Activator has run the LaunchHUB program. The 8 startups you'll meet tonight, 2 of which you've already met, were accepted for how their startups address the key theme of social impact. And for the last 12 weeks, the founders have been learning, building, and testing their businesses to make sure they can deliver social impact solutions. So to talk a bit more about how Activator supports over 260 founders and also what's on the horizon, we've got Matt Celia, Director of RMIT Activator. Thanks, Matt.
Cheers, Tim. I think you might have stolen a little bit of my thunder there, mate, but no, really awesome to be here tonight. It does feel like I love the Olympics and sport analogies. It feels like we're in the heats at the moment where we're starting to heat up. So it's wonderful to have an audience of about 220 plus people here tonight as well. Really shows how important this focus on impact ventures, on social impact, and the founders that want to change the world and change how we live in it is really resonating. So thank you all for coming along. And thanks, Tim. Great to see you here. Great to have you involved as well tonight as a previous founder, as you said, and also in our Entrepreneurship Week, which I'll talk a little bit about a little bit later on. And, you know, really, I can see the judges are already going to have a tough time later on. I'm frantically writing notes and keeping score. So congratulations to Mohammed and Mindy and to everybody else who's going to follow. It's awesome and a wonderful step in your journey as an entrepreneur, as a founder. I love being part of events like tonight. It always represents that step, that exhilarating, challenging, always impactful journey for founders. And I hope you all feel the same. Think about what we as the audience can do to help each of these founders along the way and whatever that next step in their journey is. Tonight, as Tim said, marks the 10th LaunchHUB program that we've run here at Activator in the 5 years since Activator was born back in 2016. In that time, we've fostered the development of hundreds of student and alumni entrepreneurs, not only through LaunchHUB, but through programs that ensure RMIT continues to create the most entrepreneurial talent going around. RMIT Activator really is RMIT's growth engine for entrepreneurship and innovation. There's something really special about what Activator's captured, I think, in that spark that happens with our team and the people we partner with. This brilliance drives us to find new solutions, new impact, new quality that we can bring into the world. We make those connections and ensure the resources of the university are able to be activated to help bring these ideas to fruition. And of course, part of my great job tonight is to thank a lot of people. Something like this just doesn't happen, and there's an enormous amount of people to thank for bringing this to life. From the brilliant coaches we've seen, Ian, Shamila and Darren, to our supporters and partners, Circular Economy Victoria, Blue Rock, Luna, Cake Equity, AWS Startups, and our own internal legal team here at RMIT led by Beck Torb, all have had a really formative role in creating the environment to nurture these founders and their startups. Our Activator Capital Board, Caitlin, Derek, Adam, Leonard and Kate, who've even been more involved in the program this time around and are keeping a keen eye on the pitches tonight with further investment from the Capital Fund here at RMIT for a few of these startups. Thanks also to my fellow judges, Bevan, Caitlin, Nikki. It's great to have a really diverse group of people helping us make those decisions about how we can help these founders and their startups move forward. To the talented facilitators and the RMIT Activator team, Juan, Dylan, Darmini, Paz, all have guided the teams through the past 12 plus weeks. And of course, the rest of the Activator marketing and event and logistics team led by Steph's steady hand. Amazing to see Hop In and StreamYard working so well tonight. And they've all brought that together as a group. And I wanted to make a special call out to Dylan. This is his last LaunchHUB. And as often happens in the Activator team, he's going on to pursue his own startup journey. He's literally creating a gaming community and educational programs to boot in Darwin. He's been a key part of Activator, a wonderful educator, a wonderful steady hand, and we'll sorely miss his lovely flowing locks in the Activator team. We'll miss you, Dylan, and thanks for all your work in this LaunchHUB and through the years. Our team is absolutely committed to pushing the boundaries of what's possible and helping emerging entrepreneurs and business owners do the same, growing and leading the industries of the future that we can only really begin to imagine. You've seen a few of them already. We tweaked this program this time around, providing some seed funding midway through to prototype and develop. Now, I know, at least we aim to. We got a bit stuck with an internal systems change at RMIT, which put a spanner in the actual payments, but they're coming, guys, I promise. And those funds, to prototype, to test, to keep building your business, your idea, and getting that traction is a really critical component of the program. We'll continue to do this in every program. A great example of how agile and dynamic the Activator approach is to LaunchHUB and how we bring this community together to have that social impact you heard Tim and Darren speak so passionately about. LaunchHUB 11, our next program, is now open for applications, and we've already got some strong interest. I was in Accelerator app, our program this afternoon, already seeing a bunch of applications coming in. So terrific. If you know anyone who'd benefit, who's got that impact venture themed business, we want to hear from them. That theme means we're continuing to double down on our ability to bring the resources of the university to amplify and accelerate ventures and founders that want to make sure their passion has a real impact in the world. This includes, as we'll keep seeing tonight, ventures and founders in the circular economy space, addressing social and economic equality, and those wanting to build social infrastructure in the city in a post-pandemic world. And we heard from Mohammed, really passionate about that space. We'll continue to adapt the program, and this time around, the top 20 applicants will get to take part in an intense week-long boot camp prior to the main program kicking off, and that'll refine and test their idea to put their case forward to be the 10 that go through the program that starts on the 6th of September. And finally from me, our flagship week of the year, Entrepreneurship Week, is nearly here, running from the 23rd to the 27th of August. We have everything crossed that will be a physical in-person event, a bunch of hybrid activities, of course, to bring our community around, but we can't wait to get out and about in the RMIT environment. The theme this year is what's possible, and events throughout the week will keep building on ensuring we all think about how we make sure that technology and the new business models it enables has the most highest possible enduring impact. We'll be launching Activator Go, our new high energy, high fun, rapid innovation experience, and introducing to all the people that come along, from students to alumni and those beyond our shores, a range of panels with social impact and technologists, a design sprint with Mars Pet Care to create the future of creative spaces, fireside chats with student founders, prizes, heaps of swag, and of course an end of week party that you're all invited to. So have a look in the chat. We'll get some information out to you really soon, and make sure you register. So I really hope to see you all there. I can't wait for the remaining pitchers and founders tonight. That's all from me, and back to you, Tim, to keep the show rolling. Thanks, everyone.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Matt. We're nearly ready to get into the next round of pitches, but just a reminder to keep the comments flowing in, keep putting in some encouragement there for all our founders and cheer them on. And also remember to vote for your favorite startup so they can win the People's Choice Award, and you'll be in the draw for the amazing Amazon Echo smart speaker. So next up, we have another one of our awesome coaches, Shamila, to introduce our next founder. So I'll throw to you, Shamila.
Thank you so much, Tim. And I just want to start off by saying it's an honor and a pleasure to be part of LaunchHUB again. I have to say it's really exciting to see quite a number of female founders that have come through, because that's where my passion lies, in empowering more women to become entrepreneurs. And let's jump right into it. Our next founder is Lexi. I have to say that when I first met Lexi, I was really impressed with her UX design skills, and she's actually taken her talent and created a whole new startup. So over to you, Lexi.
This image was taken about a month ago in Manchester, England. A seemingly intact teddy bear needlessly discarded, a prime example of society's throwaway culture and overconsumption on a global scale. As a society, we need to start reducing our product consumption and lowering the impact landfill is having on the environment. Parents and guardians have a unique ability to influence the behaviours of children to promote sustainable future practices, whilst also helping to instill crucial developmental values. With the World Health Organization identifying a multitude of sustainable development goals that critically target consumption and its effects on the climate, now is the time for parents to consider taking a micro step towards a macro solution. Which is why I created Sweeping Success, a tablet and smartphone application for parents to help facilitate a swapping marketplace where children can swap their toys, clothes, and more with other children, creating a unique circular toy economy that critically targets the models of reuse and sharing. Parents manage swaps via the creation of daily chore lists for their children, where successful chore completion earns points to put towards swaps. Participating in chores helps parents impart the importance of taking on responsibility and fosters a sense of discipline and structure. The best part about Sweeping Success is that parents can put the money they would have spent on new toys back into their pockets, saving up to $1,500 per year. Sweeping Success allows me to use my design knowledge and understanding of the customer journey to promote an innovative and forward-thinking generation to come, and allows me to give back to the community in a more impactful and meaningful way. Sweeping Success will operate with a freemium revenue model, with a number of basic features available for free upon download and the inclusion of a 30-day free premium trial period. Additionally, Sweeping Success sees two market opportunities for growth and scaling beyond the current scope. One being a partnership with schools, using the app as an educational tool, and the second, the navigation of the disability and neurodivergency market, using the app to help develop independence and create habits for a rewarding adulthood and future. The past 12 weeks in the LaunchHUB program have seen me hit a number of key milestones and goals, including registering my business, completing my MVP app prototype designs, and conducting foundational research to gain insights from parents. With a push to native app development and launch, my ask to the audience today would be opportunities for finding MVP participants, finding an MVP developer for a low cost, and engaging a UX researcher to conduct more thorough market research. The children of today are the game changers of tomorrow, and I know Sweeping Success can become a driver of that change. So scan the QR code to join the Sweeping Success mailing list for updates, testing invitations, and more, and help me change the way children think one swap at a time.
Awesome pitch, Lexi, and I love your call to action there with the QR code at the end. I think we have some questions from the judges already. Matt, do you have a question, was it? Or Nikki?
I do.
Nikki.
Well, congrats on the pitch. It's very very nice visually, very catchy. So congrats on that. Presentation is also part of it. I have a few questions. The UX clearly is your specialty, and I'm sure that you're great and very much focused on that side of things. Obviously, I support conceptually the problem that you're trying to solve, and I think that is very real. I'm very passionate about circular economy, so I'm absolutely for the swapping, and especially with garments or goods that have such a short lifespan, such as toys, because they're used for such a short amount of time. What I would like to know a little bit more is how do you conceive then the logistic of the swap? And in that sense, I would probably also ask you a little bit about cleaning and hygiene. That might seem strange, but in a post-pandemic time, when you have children involved, it's a bit of a sensitive issue as well. And then how the swap and the logistic practically works. Thank you.
Yeah, hi Nikki, thank you so much for your question. Look, the logistics of the swapping has been something that's been very difficult to sort of navigate and conceptualize. But look, essentially the children will earn their points from doing chores, and then they can use those points to make the listings on the swapping marketplace. And the really important part about the swapping marketplace is that it is parent facilitated. So there's that element of safety with children. That's sort of that barrier that's navigated there. Great question about the hygiene. What we've sort of devised is that beyond saying, yes, I would like to swap this with this toy, it's up to the parent and the other parent to sort of facilitate that swap. So the hygiene, it comes down to that. There will be guidelines, of course, in a post-pandemic world to make sure that that process is all 100%. There's no kind of transmission going on. You'll have to clean, disinfect your toys properly before you send them out. But eventually over time, hopefully, fingers crossed, Sweeping Success becomes a huge success. And there are avenues for distribution down the line. But at the moment, a small little startup, a small app, it will be parent facilitated, the swap.
Nice, great question there, Nikki. Any more questions from our panel of judges? Bevan.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, my question is just in relation to, so you mentioned that you see your sort of, if you like, your channel to market through schools. How do you anticipate sort of building, you know, that, I suppose, that channel? Like what resources are you going to need to sort of connect with the schools?
Yeah, hi, Bevan. Thank you very much for your question. Look, it's sort of a new avenue that I've considered, but I'm essentially looking at facilitating this in a classroom environment. So one classroom, say 30 children, the teacher will facilitate the swaps through the classroom of the children, and the children will swap with each other. It's something that will have to be discussed with the teaching departments. It's such a new channel. I'm unsure, to be honest, of how it's really going to work. But internally with the children, I do have a strong idea of how I can see that being facilitated. But it's got to go through a lot of logistic channels with teachers and departments to really get that going. But I do think it could be a very, very worthy activity for children to facilitate these teachings.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Lexi. Congrats again. Thanks from the judges. I'm going to throw back to Shamila to introduce our next founder and their pitch.
Thank you, Tim. Lexi, that was great. And what a fantastic idea of educating the children of our future. Our next up is Emily, and she's going to be talking about a platform that is very much needed as well, stemming from her passion and her background of working in the not-for-profit. Go ahead, Emily.
Hello, I'm Emily from Writers Rising. Now, Riders Rising was born in the world's biggest refugee camp, where there was over 1 million Rohingya who fled from Myanmar from systematic persecution. They're currently living in this refugee camp in squalor and being forced to continuously return back to Myanmar or onto a man-made island, far worse than Manus. Now, as Theta describes it, I was a bird inside two different cages. One is the circle of Myanmar's government persecution. Another is for being a girl in a patriarchal Rohingya community. Now, every single Rohingya, man, woman, and child, has either seen or experienced sexual violence, which is continuing to happen, which is why forced marriage is happening. And the only ones to speak out about it are the very few women who are bravely writing about their experiences to create a systematic impact. Now, the problem is that the marketplace absolutely excludes real stories. Now, we all want to be heard, particularly the Rohingya who actively want to create change. We all want to make an impact and we all want to hear real stories, especially representative stories. Now, Australia has 57% of people with a migrant background, which is currently not being represented. In general, 1% of writers are published, far less for women, far less for women of colour. Now, for stateless writers, how many of you know Bruce Bachani? Now, that's one out of how many? And how many people would have heard of him if he didn't have a community outside of Manus Island to support him to disrupt that marketplace? Now, we are providing a new social revenue, so an intimate experience via a community platform, real experts, real stories, and commercial titles that is commercially viable. Now, our roadmap is one marketplace with Writers Rising, which is a community platform and a subscription model, training, which has real expert storytellers and publishers supporting the writer's journey for every writer, but of course free for refugees, and Risen Writers, which is our publishing house for refugees or stories about that, with our circular, promoting a circular marketplace. Now, so far we have launched our website, community platform, tested, validated and piloted the community platform training, and we have also published this prototype over here, which stopped the deportations back to Myanmar last year. And we've also surveyed over 200 writers who have all said that they would love to have the opportunity to really connect, collaborate and work together with refugee writers. Stories are the solution. We'd love any support with promotion, distribution, partnerships, or expertise. In a day where there's a fundamental lack of hope, stories are the solution.
Excellent. Congratulations, Emily. That was a great pitch. Thank you so much. And so I suppose we'd like to hear from the judges again. Any questions from our panel?
Well done, Emily. I know I think you're in another part of the world at the moment as well, so I'm glad you're up early or up late, whatever it is. So, look, no doubt it's a massive challenge. I'm really interested in what would success look like for you in the next 6 months. You know, what does that manifest as for you, and what could the community that are on this showcase tonight do to help that?
Thank you very much, and greetings from Armenia. So success in the next 6 months would look like a quality commercial title that's published, our training platform that has been established, our community that's up and running, which is actually self-generating, as we have so many writers and publishers out there who are willing and asking how they can help and make a difference in terms of supporting writers all over the world, but especially refugees and people who they are dying to help in their local community, as well as in the places that most need it. By this time next year, we're hoping to launch our publishing house. And so all of these prototypes and pilots that we're testing at the moment will hopefully culminate in both the publishing house and the training platform that's been established.
Nice. And Caitlin, question from you.
Sorry, mate, unmute button wouldn't unmute. I just love what you're doing. It's really meaningful work. my mind's sort of ticking over and thinking, is there a way inside of your business model that if I was a refugee, that I could come onto the platform and start commercializing very quickly my stories and my experience from the micro and then, sort of building up into the more macro experiences?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for raising that. In terms of the impact as well, we're hoping to get as many refugees as possible globally onto the platform so that they do have their own page and they're able to showcase their work. Many of them, particularly the Rohingya, right now there's a cyclone, and so they're literally neck deep trying to escape from a camp that's actually fenced in. And they're currently, showcasing what's happening on the ground as well as their beautiful poetry and writing, basically to create awareness, but also, to share what's going on in the world and to connect with others outside and to help them to, to really know how they can create an impact by sharing these stories. So at the moment, they're already showcasing their work, and it's just about expanding that and really giving them the floor and celebrating. So in terms of the small wins, absolutely, we can do that today by sharing, a poem on your social media account. And in terms of enabling them to sort of to also earn revenue in the meantime, we are also we are going to pay all of the writers to support through the interviews and the masterclasses and all of the different events that we're going to put on. So in the immediate term, yes, we'll absolutely make sure that they're reimbursed for all of the different events, as well as the larger publications that will be commercialized.
Excellent, Emily. Well, thanks so much for your questions, judges. I'm going to throw back to Shamila in just a moment to introduce our next founder. Thank you so much.
Well, from one platform that gives voices to refugees to our next founder, Jess, who gives voices as well as talks on subject matters that are really uncomfortable but very much needed for today's youth. Jess, take it away.
I'm about to touch on themes of suicide in my introduction, so if this may trigger you, please feel free to tune out for the next minute. So when I was freshly 18, my friend Ben took his own life. It was a complete shock to me and those around me, and it forced me to grow up really fast. But Ben wasn't my only friend suffering from mental illness. I had multiple friends hospitalised due to eating disorders and depression, and many more who suffered in silence. And wanting to make a difference in the life of young people, I went on to study gender and social work at a postgrad level, and today I write and publish children's books on gender and mental health. It's been almost 10 years since Ben died, and youth mental health continues to decline in this country. A 2019 study found rates of psychological distress amongst young people had risen 5.5% in the last 7 years. And the parents who care for young people are time poor, overwhelmed, and under-equipped to respond to the increasingly complex needs of young people. And this is not their fault. They never received education on these topics either, and we tend to parent how we were parented, which means that collectively we have a lot of unlearning and relearning to do. My solution to this problem exists in two parts. Part one is a podcast where I interview experts on bodies, gender, sex, family, and work, so that together with the listener, we are able to unlearn the harmful beliefs we've been socialized to believe so that the next generation won't have to. The podcast acts as a channel to the second part of my solution, an educational app that makes what are traditionally tricky conversations easy. Tricky Topics is an evidence-based app that facilitates life-changing conversations between parent and child. Within the app are video recordings of relevant books being read, diagrams, discussion prompts, and a frequently asked question function where young people can be curious and discover age-appropriate answers to their questions in real time. My mission is to contribute to a world where the well-being of young people is nurtured and supported, and this aligns directly with the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 3, good health and well-being. The podcast will generate income through sponsorships, and I'll be leveraging my established brand and 7.8k Instagram followers to begin generating income immediately. The first iteration of Tricky Topics will be targeted at parents, and we'll be gaining our first 500 members and 32k in revenue through a Kickstarter that will leverage the 900 backers I gained as a result of a previously successful campaign where I kickstarted a children's book. Stage 2 of Tricky Topics will be targeted at governments, schools, and educators, where there is huge opportunity for growth. So I started with an idea and not a lot to show for it. Today I have a trailer for my podcast, a launch event, and a website. By January 2022, I want to launch the web-based version of the platform and reach 1,000 monthly downloads of the podcast. And by June 2022, I want to launch our Kickstarter and the app-based version of Tricky Topics in August of 2022. The Unlearning Project needs a community, and we'll be so grateful if you could join it by following us on social media and help us grow it by sharing it on your own platforms. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Congratulations, Jess. Thanks so much for the pitch. And maybe some questions from the judges again. Who would like to go first? Nikki.
Well, congrats on the pitch and for the success that you've had so far, because clearly you've done some testing on the ground, so you know what you're talking about, and you've already tested and had some feedback from your audience. So when I look at your pitch, it makes me think a bit of School of Life in the way that it approaches such tricky topics in a way that is friendly and not intimidating to an audience that might know nothing. So it's not shaming, it's very welcoming. I'm a bit curious about who is your current audience, because I'm a podcast nerd, but I understand that your audience might be in an age target that is not necessarily super tech savvy or following podcasts or looking for resources in that channel. So are you thinking of expanding that, or is your audience particularly prone to access resources in the ways that you have planned to develop your ideas in?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nikki. So my audience is between 25 and 40, and that's just from the data I've collected from my own Instagram. And they buy a lot of my books for their kids, even though that they're 5, they're targeted about anywhere between 5 and 12. At like 1 or 2 years old. So we're looking at quite young parents that are engaging with my content, and they're really socially aware, and they're interested, and they're active in consuming information, and they want to know how to do the best for their children and prepare them for the challenges that they're going to face in the world, particularly with global warming and things like that. It's so important they have that solid base of well-being. So I'm finding they're more and more aware, and they're seeking resources, but those resources are really dispersed, and there's a lot of conflicting information. It's quite overwhelming. And so the feedback I've received is from a book that kind of simplifies and condenses complex topics and provides accessible language. Parents are so grateful for those tools. And so what I'm kind of doing is digitizing and expanding what I'm already doing with books. And so because of that, I have a pretty good understanding of who my audience is.
Excellent. Thanks, Jess. And I think we've got one more question from Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Tim, and well done, Jess. Really, I love it. There's so much in there, and I'm thinking about my 3 kids, and it's a really interesting topic. I'm really curious about whenever I hear evidence-based, I'm really interested in how you're going about ensuring that it truly is. You know, in this age of there's information everywhere. How do we determine what is evidentially proved or whatever? You know, so have you got some partnerships with researchers? Are you looking at where you find the best pieces? Because I think that sort of authenticity is really critical to be able to hold that up as a sort of a validation of your business model. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think evidence-based and making sure that we have, you know, the evidence and the citations, everything to back that up, so important, because there is such conflicting information out there and parents are confused and overwhelmed. So that's going to be really important, and that will be really key in the partnerships and relationships I already have with people in wellbeing spaces and researchers. I do a lot of research for my own books, and through the podcast as well, I'll be connecting with even more, people that I admire working in academia, on the ground, writing books, things like that. And so I want this to be a really collaborative project where we can, instead of doing things in silos, bring all this amazing information we have together and curate it for our audience. Because the reality is it's all out there. No one's just thought to bring it together and present it in a way that's actually like exciting and engaging and accessible to the average person.
Awesome. Great answers there, Jess. Great questions from the judging panel. And Jess, I'm really excited to see how things are going to go with the Kickstarter campaign next year, and such a huge community around you, and that's a really big asset. So some great things to come from you there. So we're going to keep heading on with the next set of founders, and we're going to hear first from Ian, who's another one of the LaunchHUB coaches. I'll pass it over to you, Ian. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Well, it was really a privilege to be one of the coaches for LaunchHUB 10, and work with some truly inspiring changemakers. As Vice President of Circular Economy Victoria, I'm passionate about social impact and about the transition to circular economy in Victoria and the impact that we can have when we make that transition. In a former life at IBM, where I led the digital consulting practice for Australia, I developed a deep interest for innovation that matters. And that's why when I heard for LaunchHUB 10, what we were going to concentrate on was social impact and the intersection with innovation, and really focus on that triple bottom line. It really got me really excited to create that safe and just place where everyone can thrive in balance with the planet. So it's my pleasure now to introduce 3 startups that I've really enjoyed working with. The first startup that I will introduce is Ebitda. I enjoyed working with Sonia, Armin, and Shri, and truly enjoyed the systemic view and passion that they brought to the program. On a weekly basis, we discuss our joint passion areas: platform strategy, customer experience, and a business roadmap that drives impact. Let's hear from Ebitda about their business and how they'll drive that impact.
Hi, my name is Sonia. I'm co-founder of Ebitda. We are here to make homes sustainable for a livable, regenerative future. Hands up who believes reno projects are a pain. I bet 25% of you have put your hands up, right? So last year, the Australian renovators spent a staggering 15 billion on reno projects with largely poor quality outcomes. Our homes are toxic, bad for the environment, and most of them are not built to be climate resilient, which creates unaffordable homes that contribute to energy poverty in our communities. While 80% of the renovators prioritize sustainability in an early phase, most of them are confused by the amount of information and don't know where to start. So let me introduce how our business Ebitda solves this problem. Ebitda is a free online community and marketplace platform for the conscious renovator. It helps you explore, measure, and track your sustainable goals, focusing on 6 core benefits: health, comfort, efficiency, affordability, social ecological impact, and carbon emissions. Ebitda is your personalized virtual assistant. We use AI to match you with the right professional and product choices. We are creating an ecospace that will change the complex, time-consuming journey of renovating sustainably by making it simple and clever and valuable for communities and the planet. The Ebitda commercial model remains flexible during the scaling phase and is built on 4 revenue streams that will continuously grow through added new services. By 2026, as we have delivered our Envision platform, our goal is to convert at least 5% of the market share into more than 175,000 sustainable home renovations that will directly contribute to better outcomes for health, environment, and social impact. With entering the RMIT Activator program, we designed a product-to-platform strategy. Starting with the Sustainable Reno Check and Home Report, we will allow our business to unfold opportunities step by step by continuously adding values for our customers through expanding services and partnerships, and fill the gap of sustainability in the Australian home improvement market. The Ebitda team comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience in product and technology. We understand how to solve complex problems through design thinking and create solutions for the home improvement market that no one has ever tried to solve. If you care about the impact our homes have on people and the planet, you are an investor, a researcher, networker, or simply interested to join forces, please get in touch with me. Thank you.
Excellent pitch there, Sonia and Team Ebitda. That was an amazing little call to action at the end there, and those graphics were really tasty. Amazing job. Maybe some questions from the judging panel. Caitlin. Sorry, Caitlin.
My unmute button does not want to work. My question is, for you to really scale quickly, who would be ideal partners and what would they bring to the table?
So at the moment, we are actually in talks with, for example, Australian Energy Foundation, who are a perfect match actually to provide sustainable energy efficiency support across the entire renovation market. And that's a great opportunity. And we are looking actually for various partners who can bring that expertise on along and really add value.
Yeah, we think that also the financial industry is something where we are looking into it. Bank Australia, for example, is one candidate where we think there's a match between their product and our application. And so that's also in consideration over the next 6 months to approach them and having a really nice network effect, and accelerate that growth over the next 6 to 12 months.
Excellent. Any more questions from the panel? Matt?
Yeah, sorry, I feel like I'm jumping over Bevan and Nikki, so sorry, guys. I guess I'm really curious about who would you see as competitors in this space now? If I wanted to renovate my home, where would a consumer be going now, or is it just not a market that exists? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So the consumer will probably most likely go to Bunnings or at any advice from the builder. So the architect is not really overlooking the material choices, for example. Hence, there's no real deep impact actually around this. And what we think we need to support actually the consumer, if you really want to bring down, for example, carbon emissions, and our homes and construction is contributing 30% to that on an annual basis, we really need to change the consumer behavior and create better values.
Excellent. Really captivating stuff, Sonia and Armin. Thank you so much for your pitch, and thanks for those questions, judges. Pleasure. I'm going to hand back to Ian for the next founder introduction. Thanks, Ian. Ian, sorry, you're just on mute. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was saying I'm really looking forward to an Ebitda home here. So the next business I'd like to introduce is Mindful Milk, a very playful name. And I've enjoyed working with Tom and George. They brought a considered approach every week, operational attention to detail, and a passion to make a change. And I was fortunate enough to share in this stage of their journey as they pivoted with great agility based on the insight that they gained through LaunchHUB 10. So again, really excited to introduce them, and let's hear from Mindful Milk.
Australia is in a war with waste. On average, each of us generate 59 kilograms of single-use plastic waste every year. This is the highest rate of plastic wastage in the world. Nations such as China rejecting our waste has cast a spotlight on Australia's consumption and the inadequacies of our recycling and recovery systems. Focusing in on the milk industry, Australia goes through 1.23 trillion plastic milk bottles every year. Something needs to change. So we've come up with a solution. We'll be distributing milk in reusable kegs. A customised fridge and tap system will also be installed on site for the milk storage and dispensing. When the kegs are empty, they can be washed, refilled and reused over and over, eliminating the need for any single-use plastic. Our product is beneficial to businesses as it reduces their recycling costs, increases service efficiency and offers a point of difference for their marketing. We are the right team to deliver this solution. I'm George. I've experience in the cafe industry and am currently completing my MBA. And this is my co-founder, Tom. He's from the wine industry. He has experience with food handling and food science, as well as working specifically with the hardware that we will be utilising. We would like to introduce you to Mindful Milk, a startup that will be providing a circular economy within the milk industry for businesses who care about the environment. Mindful Milk's social impact is eliminating the unnecessary production and plastic waste created post-use of milk bottles, which both contribute to climate change. Our revenue model is selling 20 litres of milk in kegs at $60 a keg. Although our price will be higher than the price of milk bottles, through a research paper that we conducted with RMIT work integrated learning students, we have validated that cafe consumers will pay more for an environmentally friendly solution like Mindful Milk. MVP testing has caused a pivot of our initial value proposition from providing milk dispensing equipment and milking kegs to simply providing a circular milk service. Deep diving into our operational costs has caused another pivot from targeting medium-sized businesses to fewer high-volume businesses. Our beachhead market has been located by forming an exciting connection with a business that has milk dispensing technology in 400 of the highest volume milk consuming businesses in Melbourne. We will first capture the market of businesses that have existing milk on tap technology. Once this is done, our operational costs will have fallen enough to give us access to businesses that don't already have milk dispensing technology in place. Our third phase will be to expand into extremely high volume businesses, and with each phase will result in exponential amounts of plastic eliminated. Australia's future is going to be plastic free. Mindful Milk is here to make it happen. If removing plastic or drinking milk sustainably is of interest to you, we would love to have a chat. Thank you for your time.
Awesome, George and Tom. Congratulations. Really great pitch there and a great little mission you're on there. Maybe some questions. I know there's going to be some questions there from the panel on this. Is a really important issue right around the world with waste management. Bevan. Oh no, Caitlin. Bevan.
Okay. So I guess because essentially what you're delivering is a solution and you're competing against something that's quite convenient. So how do you plan on sort of building awareness that milk kegs are something that can overcome the convenience factor?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it'll definitely be an important part of our marketing campaign is to get the awareness out there and in front of people's faces. And we also did a program with the work integrated learning students through RMIT and surveyed about 300 people to determine whether or not they would pay extra or be interested in our system, and the results were really positive.
Excellent. Good to see Tom and George sort of taking advantage of those resources within RMIT. They're getting some internship students there to help out with some research. Great stuff. Any more questions from the panel? Caitlin.
Hi guys, well done. Just a probably more scientific question, just to validate potentially another avenue for you guys. Does putting milk in a keg also provide a longer life? Is there a sort of vacuum inside of the kegs that extends the life of milk, or?
Yeah, good question. So initially we were planning on using an inert gas to pressurize the kegs to force the milk out of them. But we've actually pivoted throughout this course to team up with another company that supply milk dispensing systems, and they actually simply use a pump. So we won't have that inert gas layer, but it is an option that we could look into down the track again. Yeah. So to answer your question, sorry, it should be about the same life. Yeah.
I think we might have another. Was that question from Matt?
Oh yeah, just had one more quick one, and I also wanted to call out Ian's awesome background because I won't get a chance to if I don't say it now. Those rockets are getting me inspired here. Guys, I wondered about the tech risk, so talking about sort of the hardware piece and so on. Can you tell me how is it easily replicatable? Are you using something off the shelf? What's the technology risk on the hardware side?
Yeah, so when we went into the LaunchHUB process, we'd identified our main competitor was going to be the milk on tap hardware provider. However, throughout the program, we've realised that that's really complicated, and it's better for us to focus solely on providing a circular milk distribution service, and we've since had chats with this milk on tap technology producer, and yeah, we've formed a really exciting connection, and that's going to be our beachhead market, and they've got 400 milk on tap products in businesses in Melbourne.
Excellent. No, great journey there from Tom and George. Having to pivot, I think that was not once, but twice during the course of the LaunchHUB journey. So excellent job there. And thanks so much from our panel of judges. We actually have one more pitch to go. So I'm going to throw back to Ian to introduce our very last pitch for tonight. Thanks, Ian.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Tim. Can't wait to see those mindful milk stickers outside some cafes. So the next business I'd like to introduce is Jairo. Sam will be speaking to us, and I always enjoyed our weekly jam session. The joy and enthusiasm that he brought about his business and the impact that he was going to make was simply contagious. During this process, he worked hard on his MVP and product market fit. So over to you, Sam, so we can hear about Jairo.
Hi, it's a fact we live in a lucky country, unfortunately leading to ballooning our carbon emission footprint. If everyone lived like an Australian, we'd need not one Earth, but 3 or 4. Of the 76 million tonnes of waste generated by Australia, households contribute to the highest proportion of waste. Another fact, 87% of Australians hold on to pre-loved or unused items, generating unnecessary virgin materials waste. But the good news is 54% of Australians want to change their consumption behaviour. What if there's a way to circulate those items earned and unused by the 87%? This is where Jairo comes in. Jairo is a community-driven peer-to-peer rental platform, matchmaking users with assets to those who need them, anytime, anywhere with a fraction of the cost. Just type #INeed and the item you're seeking, as you can see in our MVP screenshots on the left. Myself, Sam Arnold, recent MBA graduate, and my co-founder Jag, operations expert, established Jairo, driven by the circular economy and the belief that our experiences shouldn't be limited to the items we own. While our model bears similarity to Airbnb or Gumtree, our transactions aren't like theirs, a one-time transaction. Ours bring community members together, possibly for life. Our model helps create experiences to hold on to, not items. Our model consists of using the share economy through renting items boosting circularity. Given the Australian circular economy currently valued at $48 billion and the share economy being a proven market concept with successful models such as Airbnb and Uber, based on trust, peer rating, and review systems. The more items traded, the better Jairo's impact. It will be felt by the reduction of virgin materials demand and end-of-life waste, community connectedness, and societal well-being. With a simplified revenue model based on commission percentage per transaction, realized return is much higher for members generating income on redundant or unused items. While Jairo is another idea on napkin story, the ideation phase became much clearer with the support of our MIT Activator community, leading to the acceleration and release of our MVP, now 1.07. We have the roadmap to trade over 1 million items in 5 years' time. Our goal is to release Jairo's main feature driven by #INeed to selected suburbs and market segments in Phase 2, followed by category-specific features released in Phase 3, national coverage in Phase 4, with Phase 5 bringing businesses on board to complement our environmental and societal contribution. I'm here today to ask you to believe in our mission. Scan our QR code or visit our website to join Jairo on our journey in shaping a world where our experiences aren't limited to the items we own.
Excellent pitch. Thank you so much. I think we've got Sam with us. Hey, Sam. Thanks so much.
Hello.
And thanks so much. And so I'd just like to throw to some of the judges there for some questions. Anyone like to go first? Nikki.
Thanks for sharing. That's really great and well thought out in all the steps from the problem to your roadmap for growth. Obviously, you are trying to solve a very relevant problem, and reusing is clearly or creating libraries and creating sharing platforms is the first answer that we should look for in a perspective of circular economy, because that's the most efficient option. Well, I guess at the beginning you will have to fight against Facebook Marketplace and all these sort of platforms, or Gumtree and all these sort of platforms where people are used to go for these type of swaps. So I'm guessing like my first question would be, how do you plan on diversifying, and how do you plan on be more relevant to engage customers at that stage? And then at the second stage, how do you plan on involving businesses and convince them that swapping is better than selling with the idea of making more profit instead of reusing?
Absolutely. Thank you. Great question. Look, we're trying to fight against moving our name away from marketplace. So we're trying to tap into Facebook maybe community. See, if you've seen Facebook communities, you have people sharing items, personal items, and that hasn't been monetized yet. So what we're trying to do is convince people to take them away from Gumtree, for example, instead of sending the item once, and make people realize, hey, instead of getting rid of my item, I can make a lot more money by sharing it with my neighbors. And the fact is that shared items are usually done within 10, based on studies, within 10 k's distance. So it's brings community together. So what we're trying to say here is we're going away from marketplace. We're bringing people to us. We're not competing with them. It's more of a new way of doing business, and we're changing the way we operate online. So I want people to say I need, and that's why we keep pushing the word #I need, because you don't have to list anything. Just say I need something and it gets delivered to you, and usually from your neighbors.
Nice. Any more questions from the panel? Matt.
I really like this, Sam. I think there's some challenges around building that market. You know, like as Nikki said, you know, there's my street's got a WhatsApp group because we're in a fire zone, and I was watching it today, and people were like trading trailers for moving a tree that had fallen down and stuff. And I just wonder whether that awareness of a marketplace through Jairo, how it's going to cut through all these other options we've got to do it in our own little ways now. Like, what's your strategy for the I need, or the #I need is great, but what's your strategy for getting that massive reach out there that you'll need to get the quantity of people towards Jairo?
100%. So for us, this is basically, that's the biggest hurdle at the start. So for us to work, we need mass downloads. And saying that as well, we're still away from all those markets, because what we can sell to people is things that you never thought you can lease. Things you never, for example, like a charger. You broke your charger, laptop charger tonight, and you need something. Gumtree is not going to solve it for you. Not as shops are closed, your neighbor can. So basically going back to the old days where you just knock on the door, on your neighbor's door. These days you sound like a freak if you do it, or you look like a freak. But you can do it on the app, which is more acceptable way of doing it.
Nice. Good question there, Matt. It's it's a big challenge ahead, Sam, but I think that could have some real impact. Any more questions from the judging panel there? Caitlin, question from you, was it?
What are the top 3 things that people do want to hire, and how are you going to capitalize on that in your go-to-market strategy?
Thank you. Great question again. Look, we've done our research, and households, and basically that's why our first initial soft launch would be towards parents and suburban families. So households, camping gear, and items like that are the biggest items being traded. And again, we want to push into the items that never been traded. So while that would be our great stepstone to move forward, what people are trading, we want people to realize that anything they have at home, that's what they can trade. So just sit and wait. But yeah, household items are the main items.
Excellent. Yeah, Sam, I was just thinking there'd be great opportunities to involve sort of champions in the neighborhood that are specialists in, different items and different products. So very exciting there.
Absolutely.
Listen, thanks so much, Sam. Thanks so very much to the judging panel there. We're going to transition into the next stage of the showcase tonight. That is all the pitches done. So it's now time to say thank you to our fantastic coaches, Darren Sutton, Shamila Gopalan, and Ian Wong, for all of your hard work. And to the founders, what an impressive cohort. It's going to be a really tough one to choose who takes the honours in our awards tonight. Our judges will now go and deliberate and share the good news of who has won the best pitch in just a moment. So in the meantime, the People's Choice Awards voting is still open. I hope you've been voting on the way through, but if you haven't already, it's still open. So jump in there, make sure you vote for your favourite startup at the link in the chat in the box on the right. And voters will go in the draw to win an amazing Echo to play some awesome tunes on. You've got another 5 minutes before voting closes. If you've already voted, it's a good time to go to the expo section to learn more about the startups. I know many of you got lots of questions about all the startups you've heard tonight, or it's a chance to go and stretch your legs, grab a little bit of a bite to eat or some water. But just make sure you come back to the stage in around about 5 minutes time or so. It's going to be a pretty challenging time for the judges. So good luck to judges, and we'll see you back here in 5 minutes, everyone. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, welcome back. So voting has closed, but before we announce the winners, there's going to be a little bit more information coming up in a video about the upcoming LaunchHUB program. As Matt mentioned earlier, this is going to be starting pretty soon. We are taking entries already, as he mentioned. So let's roll the video and have a bit of a look.
Hey there, are you an early stage startup founder who's looking to make an impact? We're looking for founders working in the circular economy space, social innovation, and the recovery of the city post-pandemic. Come join our LaunchHUB Impact Ventures. This will help you pre-accelerate your innovate idea and create impact. We have had some amazing ideas come to life from our previous LaunchHUB cohorts. You will have the opportunity to be part of our RMIT Activator community, participate in our bootcamp, get access to weekly workshops, funding at the middle and at the end of the program, have one-on-one coaching with the best experts in the industry. Also, we have a pool of $200,000 worth of support for the founders and their ideas. So, if your venture aims to make the world a better place, we want you. Applications are now open.
Excellent. Great video there by Juan and the Activator team. But yeah, just want to amplify the call to action there from LaunchHUB Activate team. It's a really great opportunity for anybody there in the audience who's been thinking about taking their idea to the next level, or maybe like some founders that we've seen tonight, they already have been on the journey for some time now and are taking it and using the LaunchHUB platform to elevate their business idea. So it doesn't matter whether you are pre-idea or you're well into your idea phase or even past that. This is an opportunity if you want to use the resources of RMIT Activator and their brilliant LaunchHUB program. And like I said, we've got some amazing coaches that are coming through to teach lots of founders through the LaunchHUB program. But just as we wait for a little bit more to get some results from our judges, they are having a really hard time, as you can imagine, deciding on who's going to win the best pitch tonight. Make sure you've done your vote for the People's Choice Award. So you can go into the draw for an Amazon Echo speaker. But I'd actually just like to take the time to share a little bit about what Project Flock's journey was through LaunchHUB, the LaunchHUB program that we went through between, I think it was August and October last year. It was through, what were some of the toughest lockdowns that we were having here in Victoria and right around the world. And I took an idea that I'd sort of incubated through RMIT Industrial Design in 2019, which was to try and make cyclists a little bit safer on the roads with providing a tool for them to be able to make them more visible on the road by lighting up their legs and basically showing off their biomotion to make them more recognizable so there's less chance of the unmentionable happening to them. But I'd just like to say that it was going through the LaunchHUB program that really provided us with a new lens to be able to focus on who are our customers and the tools and the strategies to be able to essentially find out who our users are, who our target customers are, and also be able to try and find some ways for us to be able to see what are other markets and what are other products. If we haven't, done our homework, what are the other things that we can pivot to? And, if we are wrong about our target customers, what are the other things that we can pivot to? And what can we move to in the future in terms of different markets, like I said, but also different business models? We are going to be launching our Flock light onto the market. So that's as I said, our light, which lights up the moving legs of the rider to make them more visible in order to make the roads a little bit of a safer place for cyclists. We will be launching our Flock light later this year on the Kickstarter platform. And if you'd like to come along and follow our journey, head to projectflock.cc and please sign up and to come along on our journey, because there's going to be a lot more news really soon about when that date's going to be a part of our Kickstarter program, our Kickstarter project. And also next week on Thursday, Project Flock will be hosting Innovation in Micromobility, which will be a great panel event where we're having some subject matter experts coming in to talk about behavior change, to talk about the future of innovation in micromobility, which is a really, really important sustainable development goal, for example, to make cities a safer, healthier, more sustainable place to be by people getting around and transport that is going to be essentially not cars, taking some more cars off the road. So I've got that up on our Instagram page. You can follow some links through to get some tickets for that. And then I think what we'll do is we might see if the judges are ready to go. We may need to cut to a little bit more of some filler footage there until we hear back from the judges. Is that okay, Steph? Hi everyone, we are back. I just wanted to remind you that if you are interested in applying for the next LaunchHUB cohort, as I said earlier, please find the application link in the chat box. Thanks for being so patient. I know that took a little bit longer, but as I said, you can understand this is a pretty hard slog there for the judges to decide on just which important social impact startup business that has been through the LaunchHUB is going to win tonight. So without further ado, first up will be the People's Choice Award. We had an outstanding number of votes come through for the People's Choice Award. Well done, everyone. And the winner is... Congratulations, Emily and the Writers Rising. That was an amazing pitch and a really, really important mission that you and your community are on there. So congratulations. So on to the next award for the best pitch. This is the really big one here for the best pitch prize. Thank you again to our wonderful judges who had a really difficult decision there of nominating a winner. And the winner is... Congratulations, Ebitda, to Sonia and Armin. Really, really great effort there. Really amazing graphics and an amazing presentation. It's great to see your hard work recognized. And for all those who have voted in the People's Choice Award, we will announce who won the Amazon Echo Smart Speaker tomorrow. So please keep an eye on your emails. All right, so we're drawing to a bit of a close here with the presentation part of this evening, but we are going to have a little bit more on straight after the showcase. It's been a fantastic evening hearing from our founders. So thanks so much for joining. I'd like to make some specific thanks to our judges, to Bevan, to Caitlin, to Matt, and Nikki. Thank you so much for providing some really great questions for our founders there, because they are going to be going on and continuing their journey after LaunchHUB. To our coaches, Darren Sutton, Shamila Gopalan, and Ian Wong, thank you so much for your guidance to the founders. And thank you to our fantastic founders of this cohort and their hard work. Some really amazing things you're doing for social impact. We'd love to give a big shout out to our program partners, Circular Economy Victoria and Luna, as well as our supporters, Blue Rock, Cake Equity. If there are any founders out there who have been inspired today, come and join the next LaunchHUB cohort. As we've been saying throughout tonight, applications are still open and we are addressing the key theme of impact ventures. If you'd like to learn more, come along to our LaunchHUB Ask Me Anything next Wednesday, the 4th of August. And we've got a registration link in the comments there. If you want even more action from the RMIT Activator team, keep your eye on the inboxes as they announce this year's Entrepreneur Week. Matt, our director, mentioned this a little bit earlier tonight. It's titled What's Possible, and it's going to be running for a whole week through RMIT Activator. So, all right, everyone. The action isn't over just yet. We do have we have come to the end of the showcase, and we'd like to invite you to interact with our founders and other audience members here tonight. But here's a couple of ways you can do it. You can create a chat room by going into the session section, or you can chat individually to people in the People tab. And what's really important there is if you want to see some more information about some of the founders and their businesses tonight, this is where you can go to the Expo section where you'll find the startups virtual booths, and this will be a great place for you to learn more about the founders and their businesses. And finally, we have the Activator staff standing by to answer any questions you may have about the next LaunchHUB cohort in the session section. Thank you all again for coming along to the LaunchHUB showcase today. LaunchHUB number 10. It has been an honor being your host. So have a great night, and please enjoy the next section where we'll be doing lots of networking and chatting to the founders and their businesses. Thanks. Have a great night.